What's up? This is PsychoSi, and I'm bringing you a review. Yeah, a review. I'm reviewing a game. And the first game that I'm actually going to bring you to you in my reviews is one that I've been delaying and delaying and delaying. I'm sorry. I got a life. Anyway, South Park, the stick of truth. Truth. It's the truth. It's a good game. You should get it. They have a lot of good things about it. I mean, they worked on everything. You could tell that it feels to me like they made the unofficial 18th season of the show. And it's real cool. There's a lot of customizability. There's friends, there's weapons, there's kids playing LARP, you know? Yay! Remember, we used to, when we was little kids, grab sticks, going into the backyard, pretend you're on a hunt in the jungle. Yeah, that was probably just me. Anyway, it's really cool. You should play it. And there's a lot of different reasons why. Speaking to that customizability, first thing I'm gonna show you is the character customization, the character creation. You know, when you make your dude and stuff, because games aren't fun unless you could create a dude. That's just my opinion. I mean, Grand Theft Auto. Everybody loves Grand Theft Auto, right? But how much better will Grand Theft Auto be if you can make yourself? You know? Why you gotta be like the character they give you? Screw that guy. Now, the game has a lot of good aspects within its customization aspects and its combat aspects, but aside from that and aside from what you get for a sort of kind of limited character creation from the beginning, simply because of the fact that you haven't played through the game to collect enough stuff to really make your character who you want. What the game does very well is it definitely keeps to the humorous nature of the show, especially in just the way the characters act. The NPCs, all of them say different things, and a lot of them are just the crazy things that you would expect to hear from a South Park game.
I saw two rats running around last time I was at Skeeter's bar. I'll probably still eat there.
Due to the nature of the subject matter of the game being a South Park game, it does seem to concentrate heavily on the comedy aspects of the game. However, they are not the aspects of the game that keep the game fun, so to speak. The game itself does actually hold up. There's a lot of degrees of exploration. There's a lot of different things that you can find and collect, especially when you dig into like different drawers and stuff in different places. You can loot things. Although some of the loot is questionable, but none of it is anything that doesn't seem like it would have been fair game in the South Park universe to begin with. So if you're, into South Park, then it's obvious that you probably won't be offended or grossed out by most of this stuff. And even if you are, maybe you're a sick person like me and you just enjoy that kind of shit. And teamwork. Something else that I've seen from this game that I find very interesting that seems to be paying homage to the old school games. It has that element of puzzles going on in it too, the interactive environments. Remember, like in Spider-Man Maximum Carnage, if you did the spin kick on the third level, I think it was, you could get into the secret room. You're able to do stuff like that. Here, the puzzles do make sense for the world, I guess, especially South Park, because, you kind of have to fart your way out of situations. But hey! Doesn't really matter because the point of the whole thing is that it actually does function well. It is well brought on mechanic. Now, I know that I've been talking a lot about the different features of the game, but I haven't been talking about the meat and potatoes that I know all you want to hear about. You know what the meat and potatoes is. We talking about that combat. That's right, the combat. Yes, it is turn-based. Yes, people don't like turn-based because they feel like they have to take turns. But you have to keep in mind that is based on little kids kind of just playing around, you know what I'm saying? It's little kids, doing LARP. And you know how we were when we were kids. You had the whole, you have to take turns thing because, it was a matter of respect and shit. And I kind of dig that. But that's just advocating, whatever. Now, let's talk some real advocating. What I think Obsidian did with this turn-based system is actually something that is quite astounding. Something that I have not seen done in many games at all. They actually managed to make a turn-based system feel as if it was engaging. This is something that I've not seen done in many games at all. In fact, one of the biggest turn-offs to the Final Fantasy series, I know that fans are going to kill me for this, but the Final Fantasy series to me has always been a huge turn-off due to the fact that it has this monotonous, what seems monotonous to me at least, very, very basic, kind of stripped-down, poor combat system. Just select attack, select defense, select this, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You know the whole deal. And you would think that it's going to be the same kind of thing here, but there are different things that you have to do, different nuances within combat that actually take precedence when you are in the middle of combat. For instance, there are different stances, like there's riposte. If they're in riposte or whatever, it's basically reflecting all like arrow attacks and shit, so you have to use a power attack in order to be able to stumble them, some shit like that. There's different things, debuffs, buffs. There's also actually a chance for you to guard if you are attacked personally. You can actually, block and counter attack. Tell me how many freaking turn-based games you know where you could block and counter attack. Go ahead. I'm waiting. Anyway, as I was saying about the combat system is very detailed. There's a lot of different things that I could explain to you right now, but it's honestly not going to be well understood unless you actually played the game yourself, because of the different things that are actual context sensitive, especially according to graphic detail for what's going on in said scenario. For instance, I hit you and I have to click at this exact moment when the sword flashes so that I can get extra power or whatever the hell have you. But those aren't the only different things that you have to look forward to within the combat system. The combat system also poses a really, really interesting thing that I really enjoy with the kids, and that's letting the kids explore with these powers that they're supposed to have. My favorite being of which, and I don't care what anybody fucking says, he is the man. He's fucking held in all of Mexico. All he has to do is lift his arms. Oh, we all know what the hell that's for. We all know why. Because Butters is the last Mexican. And he's also the baddest ass motherfucker alive. Come on, Professor Chaos. It's Professor Chaos. He could do anything. The dude, well, not anything. He'll give you shields that annoy you. You don't want the shields. You really want him to like vaporize the enemy and kill him in one hit, which he's capable of doing. But he has a shield ability that comes up on this like little roulette wheel, and it kind of make you very upset if you get it when you really, really didn't want it, especially against aliens. But Butters is still badass.
But it's only good if you have a powerful enemy.
That's something to keep in mind. Only good if you have a powerful enemy. Don't be using Professor Chaos power against like Chip and Dale and shit from Rescue Rangers. That ain't gonna help you. Anyway, the next thing that I want to touch on is actually really cool. There are kind of, I guess, summons sorta that you can pick up throughout the game, and you know the Chinese guy from Shitty Sushi. You can get him and he'll help you out. He'll help you out whatever the hell you want to be helped out with, like depending on what the fight is. But of course, none of the helpers can help you in boss fights because that'd be way too fucking convenient and awesome. But it's whatever. You take some, you lose some. One that's really cool though that I think everybody should go out. If you haven't found him yet, you should go find him. He's at your local church. Go find Jesus. Because he can help you, and he's very beneficial to you when he helps you with his gun and other weaponry. Jesus, he's awesome. Another thing that people who love South Park may love in this game, and I really mean love in this game. If you like South Park, you gotta have this game for this reason. Go into people's shit. I mean it. Go in their closets, dig in their stuff, go in their drawers. You'll find so many things that remind you about the awesome times you've had in the previous 17 seasons of South Park. I mean it. I mean, just in Cartman's closet alone, I went on a freaking like trip down memory lane. Everybody from Osimo, the robot that to even the finger bang clothes and shit, and the CD, the music actually plays in his room. You can actually hear the finger bang song from when the boys were in that boy band, cause Stan's dad was in a boy band before, and the whole nonsense. If you haven't seen that episode, if you haven't seen the show, I don't know what you're waiting for, dude. Go live your life and enjoy some South Park, because you haven't lived until you've actually watched some episodes of South Park, seriously. And if you're, easily offended, sorry. But the world is so much better when you're not easily offended. Just stop it. Just stop it. Stop.
Whatever, you were offended by abortion.
That's abortion, okay? That's nasty. And it wasn't just the fact that it was abortion. Why do I have to see some man's testicle get sucked up by an abortion machine vacuum thing? Oh, that's just a bad scenario altogether, and that's why it was disturbing, okay? But it still did have an actual purpose in the game. I'm not gonna spoil this for you because this is a spoiler-free review. Everything that I'm showing you here is stuff that you're gonna see, that's not gonna really affect your enjoyment of the game. I can't take there are some things I want to talk about in this game. All I gotta say is giant-headed Nazi zombie baby. Enough said.
That was aborted from Kim Kardashian.
No, it was not. It was not Kim Kardashian. It was the Hobbit, and it was her sister, Khloe Kardashian, the other Hobbit. Anyway, the other thing that I think that's cool, also kind of within the same realm of the whole Easter egg deal, you'll find a lot of really cool characters. A lot of even some characters that you may not remember may show up in the game at some point, and if it'll jog your memory, and you'll have that moment of, oh my god, I remember that episode was so disturbing. But the point is that they really paid attention to making the South Park world come to life, and it does show, especially when you have a boss battle like one of the ending boss battles, well, close to the end at least. All I'll say is that Chef is in the game. I'm not gonna say how. I'll just say Chef is in the game, and you get to see him again. If any of you were a fan of the South Park N64 games, which I don't know what human alive, seriously, throwing snowballs at turkey all day. That Quake crap.
Fuck you, that was awesome.
It's horrible. Anyway, the cool thing about these character cameos is that all the characters are actually accurately portrayed. They're not. You don't ever feel that in a way that they just kind of lazily did, just put in a character just for the hell of it, and that's easy to happen in a game like this, especially considering an RPG. Now, we have to talk about the bad. Yes, there is some bad. All games have bad. But this game's bad is actually, I guess, forgivable-ish. So, the first bad thing that I would really like to point out is that I did notice some texturing detail issues that do show up. But the way it shows up, and it's a glitch that just causes things to flicker. Doesn't happen a lot, but when it does happen, it's highly noticeable, and it will quickly rip you out of the experience. I mean, you feel that you're immersed in South Park episode that's, it's playable, and then you see this blinking, flickering thing happening to your character, and you're all like, all right, because that's supposed to happen. But, it's Obsidian's first fucking try making a game that looks like shit on purpose. But all in all, the game, though it does have some graphic issues, the minor graphic issues that it may have here and there are very they're trivial at best. I've noticed also some lag issues that you'll see mostly when you're in travel. Like if you're going from one part of the map to another part of the map, you will notice some scrolling issues. That does happen sometimes, and it does slow down, maybe lag out a little. But the lag is minimal, so almost not noticeable, which is something that's beneficial to the player experience, of course. So and I think that could possibly just be patched out later on later dates in if Obsidian is to continue on fine tuning the game in post release if they follow up, because some companies just don't. But I have faith. Obsidian, they pushed the game back at least far enough for us to fucking have to fucking wait for the damn thing, almost have forgotten about the game before it finally comes out, just so that they could give us a product that they felt accurately represented the amount of work that they put into it. And that's something that I haven't seen in a company in a while. I'm talking to you, EA. Now, there is another issue that I do have with the game, and that issue comes from one that's very, very picked on about. I mean, the game gets picked on about this all the time, because you are looking at an RPG that clocks in at maybe around 15 hours. And 15 hours of gameplay for an RPG is just not acceptable by many people's standards. I understand why you would feel that way. But what I feel that the game used RPG mechanics to make an unofficial 18th season of the show. It's more of a playable show that is still in all a game. It doesn't forget what it is to be a game. It's not like playing a series of like Dragon's Lair, for instance. If you remember Dragon's Lair on the PC, where it was a series of keystrokes that you had to punch in at the right time for the animation to play through without the character ending up in some sort of pit of death. It's not that kind of scenario. This is an actual interactive scenario. You're playing a game, but everything is scripted so well that in the freedom that it gives you, you still feel like an effervescent feeling that everything is moving forward. There's always a progression. And that is something that I find is really cool in the game. And that's very, very hard to have pulled off, especially considering that the character that you play as never talks. The other drawback that I would also like to say, I point this out every time there's a character creation in the game that excludes this. You cannot switch your gender from male to female. I would like to be able to play a girl character. I know girls who out there would like to play this game and like to be able to play a girl character.
But boys would never play with a girl unless they had to in the story.
That's true. The boys would never play with a girl unless they had to, but they even give you a segment in the game where you end up finding the girls club and you have to actually dress up as a girl. So if they're willing to entertain the idea of little kids cross-dressing, then I believe that they should be willing to entertain the idea that a little girl would be able to fucking play LARP with kids in South Park. Damn it.
You don't know them South Park kids.
I don't give a fuck about them South Park kids. They need to learn respect. Now I've showed you some of the best. I showed you some of the worst. I've showed you what this game has to offer. Now it's time to give it the final verdict. And the final verdict of this one, I'll give this 5 turds out of 6. 6 being my highest score because everybody has like top score of 5. Fuck that. I like the evil numbers. 6. Damn it. And I'll give it a 5 out of 6 because due to the presentation issues and some of the other problems that I had, especially with the length of the game only being about a 15-hour game, and if you speed run it about 13 hours, if you don't do any other side missions and shit, and if you suck at it, which is that's kind of bad. The things that I would like to really kind of point out is that even with those drawbacks, the game still managed to be a much better, more truer to South Park thing than any South Park thing has ever been that wasn't a movie and or show. And I think that's awesome because we've had tons of South Park merchandise, tons of South Park pinball games and South Park video games on the N64 and other fucking consoles, hacks, all kinds of shit. And none of it ever fucking made me feel like, yeah, this is what it's like to be in the town of South Park, in the life of South Park. Now I've finally been able to experience our awesome mountain town, South Park. That's right. 5 turds out of 6. Go get the game now. Why are you still sitting here watching me? Good. What? What? No. What? Why? This could all be edited out. It's like, what? For what? What was your interjection? You fucking noob. We're saving this group.